Do you really know how long your money will last after 65? Most people think they do. They look at their savings, their pension, maybe some investments, and they assume it's enough. But then comes the first real year of retirement. Not the vacation, not the freedom, not the sleep-ins, the bills. For Linda, it started quietly. She retired at 67. Mortgage paid, no debts, a modest pension, and around $200,000 in savings. She had done everything right. At least that's what everyone told her. But one morning, she noticed her checking account looked thinner than expected. A few $1,000s gone, and she hadn't done anything unusual. A small plumbing repair, her grandson's school fees, 2 prescriptions that weren't fully covered. Groceries were more expensive this month, again. At first, she told herself it was just a bad month, but then it happened again. And again, that's when she realized she wasn't spending recklessly, or she wasn't traveling or shopping or doing anything extravagant. She was just living. And her savings were bleeding slowly but steadily. It's something no one really explains before retirement, how easily the math can fail. Because what you need after 65 isn't just enough money to live. You need enough money to absorb the invisible. The price of peace, the cost of aging. Here's the truth. Most retirement plans don't fail because of one big expense. They fail because of 1,000 small ones. A cracked tooth, an emergency flight to see your daughter, the heating system dies in December, a friend passes, and you fly across the country to say goodbye. They don't teach you this in financial seminars. They don't write it in the glossy brochures. But retirement isn't cheaper than working life. It's just different. And often, it's more unpredictable. Let's break it down. At 68, Linda spent more money on healthcare than she did at 48. Not because she was sick, but because she needed more checkups, more scans, more just-in-case prescriptions. Her food bills increased. Not because she ate more, but because she chose healthier options that cost more. Then came the house. When you're retired, you're home more often. That means more electricity, more heating, more wear and tear. And when something breaks, there's no company IT to call. It's on you. Linda spent nearly $4,500 in 1 year on unexpected repairs, and she didn't even own a car. But here's the part that really surprised her, the family factor. No one tells you how hard it is to say no when your adult child needs help, when your granddaughter wants piano lessons, when a relative needs a place to stay for just a few months. Suddenly, your quiet retirement becomes a support system, emotionally and financially. Linda gave more than she expected. And like many, she did it with love. But love doesn't refill a bank account. By the time she turned 70, Linda had used nearly half her savings. And that's when she understood, retirement is not the end of planning. It's the beginning of a new kind of survival. That's not a reason to panic. It's a reason to pause, to look closer, to ask yourself not do I have enough, but am I ready for what's coming? Because here's the hidden truth. Most seniors don't run out of money because they spent too much. They run out because they underestimated what life costs when you stop earning. In the next part of this story, we'll dive into the 3 most common blind spots that destroy retirement plans, quietly, slowly, and often too late. Stay with us. Because the numbers you need to see are not just on your bank statement, they're in your daily life. And noticing them now could change everything. She had done everything by the book, saved every month, avoided debt, stayed away from lavish purchases, but no one warned her about the invisible costs. No one told her that retirement wouldn't feel like a quiet glide into peace, but a puzzle where the pieces keep changing shape. And the first mistake? She thought her expenses would go down. That's what most people believe. Once the paycheck stops, the spending slows. No more commuting, no more office lunches, no more kids to raise. But that belief doesn't hold. In reality, many retirees, especially in the first 5 to 10 years, end up spending as much or even more than they did while working. It's not because they're reckless. It's because freedom comes with activity. And activity, at any age, costs money. Vacations, helping adult children, unexpected repairs, home improvements that feel urgent now that you're there all the time. The money doesn't disappear in one big swoop. It fades, quietly. Month after month, like a slow leak in a pipe you didn't know existed. And the hardest part? Most don't notice until it's already too late. The second mistake? Underestimating healthcare. You feel good now. You walk fine, you drive, you remember names. But aging doesn't send calendar invites. One fall, one test result, one shift in your eyesight or balance or blood pressure, and suddenly you're paying for services you never planned for. People talk about the cost of medication, but they forget about the rest. Physical therapy, hearing aids, mobility devices, or special diets, transportation to and from appointments. Most of it isn't fully covered, and none of it is optional when you need it. You don't get to choose when your body needs more support, but you can choose whether or not you're financially prepared. The third silent error is believing your savings are immune to time, that the number in your account today will feel just as solid in 10 years. But inflation doesn't sleep. A dollar saved in 2010 doesn't have the same power in 2025. Groceries cost more. Home maintenance creeps up. Insurance premiums rise every year. And when the economy shifts, the money you thought would last starts to lose its voice. Slowly, steadily, invisibly. You don't wake up to an empty account. You wake up to an account that buys less. And it's only then you realize retirement isn't just about how much you have. It's about how long that much can keep up. These aren't just technical mistakes. They're traps. Because they don't feel like mistakes at all until they compound, until the numbers don't stretch far enough, until choices become restrictions. So let's break it down clearly. If you're retired or about to retire, here are 3 questions to ask yourself today. 1. Do I have an updated monthly budget that reflects real spending, not guesses? Not just the big bills, but the gifts, the surprises, the "I didn't think about that" expenses. 2. Have I calculated my healthcare costs realistically, based on age, not optimism? Even healthy seniors face rising medical needs. Are you ready? 3. Is my plan adjusting for inflation every year, or stuck in time? A stagnant budget in a changing world is a silent danger. In the next part of this story, we'll look at how she took back control, without panic. She didn't need a windfall. She just needed a new mindset. She learned how to stretch what she had. She learned what to let go of, and what to invest in to protect her independence. She stopped treating her retirement like a finish line and started seeing it as a living system, fluid, responsive, real. And you can do the same. She didn't panic, but she did pause, and in that silence, she chose to act. Because she realized something powerful. You don't need to overhaul your life to survive retirement. You just need to shift it, slowly, wisely, intentionally, and that's exactly what she did. Here are the 4 small changes that saved her retirement. Shift 1, she tracked her real expenses without lying to herself. It started with a notebook, just a plain one, nothing fancy. She wrote down everything for 30 days, every coffee, every pharmacy visit, every just a little something for the grandkids. And what she found shocked her. There were patterns she hadn't seen before, streaming subscriptions she forgot about, grocery splurges that added up, tiny leaks draining hundreds. But this wasn't about guilt, it was about clarity. Because you can't fix what you don't face. By knowing where her money truly went, she could start to make smarter, kinder choices, without feeling like she was punishing herself. Shift 2, she downsized emotionally, before doing it physically. She didn't sell the house right away, but she started walking through each room with new eyes. Did she really need 4 bedrooms now? Was the formal dining room still in use? Were there spaces that held more dust than joy? More importantly, were her expenses paying for memories or her future? She asked hard questions and gave herself honest answers. Eventually, she did move, not out of fear, but out of freedom. Her smaller space didn't feel like less. It felt like peace. Fewer things, fewer bills, more light, more breathing room. Shift 3, she built a cushion for the things that can't be predicted. It wasn't a huge emergency fund, just enough to breathe. Because she learned quickly, the surprise isn't if something happens, it's when the car needed repairs, the fridge died, her daughter needed help with the kids for a month, and thanks to her little buffer, none of it broke her. She wasn't wealthy, but she was stable, and at this stage of life, that's everything. Shift 4, she got help, but not the kind she thought. She didn't hire a financial advisor, she talked to someone at her local senior center. They pointed her to community services she didn't know existed. Reduced utility rates, free tax prep for retirees, affordable medical transport. She'd spent so long thinking she had to do it all alone, but help was there, quietly waiting. All she had to do was ask. None of these shifts were radical, none of them made headlines, but together, they gave her life back. She still had her morning tea, still saw her grandkids, still took short road trips with her sister every summer, but this time it was without the weight of worry. Because financial freedom in retirement doesn't always look like luxury. Sometimes it looks like peace of mind. Sometimes it's knowing that tomorrow won't catch you off guard. In the next and final part of this story, we'll explore what she wishes she had known sooner. Not just about money, but about mindset. Because retirement isn't just about what you've saved, it's about how you see what you have. And when that perspective shifts, everything else follows. She didn't want pity, she wanted peace. And looking back, she had one wish. I just wish someone had told me the truth earlier. Not the scary truth, not the numbers on a screen kind of truth, but the gentle, honest kind, the kind that says, you've done your best. Now let's do it better. Because the real danger of retirement isn't just running out of money, it's running out of confidence. So here's what she learned. Too late to prepare, but just in time to act. 1. You don't retire from money decisions. She had thought the planning ended at 65, that once the savings were in place, she could just live. But money doesn't retire, inflation doesn't retire, unexpected bills don't retire, loved ones needing help don't retire. And so your awareness can't either. You don't need to be a financial expert, but you do need to stay awake. 1 hour a month reviewing your budget, 1 phone call to check your health coverage, 1 reminder that even at 70, decisions matter. 2. Your health is your biggest expense, especially when ignored. She remembered skipping a dental checkup because it was just too pricey this month. It cost her 4 teeth later. She ignored a small lump in her shoulder and paid 5 times more when it grew. Healthcare at this age is not a luxury, it's strategy. Getting ahead of small issues is the cheapest, smartest investment a retiree can make. If you feel something, check it. If you delay something, reconsider. She wished someone had told her, prevention is cheaper than regret. 3. Lifestyle inflation hides in the softest places. It wasn't big purchases that drained her account. It was comfort, an extra streaming platform to feel less alone. A few spontaneous gifts because the grandkids deserve it. Ordering takeout just this week. It's been a hard month. None of those are wrong, but added up, they were unsustainable. She realized too late, my comfort zone was eating my future. 4. Pride is expensive, and it doesn't keep you warm. For years, she avoided asking for discounts. She was too proud to apply for aid programs. She didn't want anyone thinking she was struggling. But silence is not strength, and solitude is not financial security. Once she finally spoke up, she found solutions. From church grants for home repairs to tax breaks for seniors to medication support programs, the help was always there, but pride had kept her from seeing it. Now she tells others without shame, use the help. You earned it. 5. It's never too late to adjust, and adjusting isn't failure. She changed her plans at 70, at 73, even at 76. Each time she felt like she was starting over, but every time it gave her back power. Retirement doesn't need to be static. You are allowed to change course. You're allowed to move in with someone, to sell a car, to cancel cable, to ask your adult children for clarity and honesty about support. Change isn't failure, it's wisdom. So, what can you do today? Start small. Track what you're spending this week. Look for the invisible costs you've stopped noticing. Ask yourself if your lifestyle reflects your current needs or an old routine. And most of all, forgive yourself for what you didn't know. Because the greatest financial shift doesn't happen in your bank account. It happens in your mindset. She thought her savings would last. Now she knows better, and because she faced it, her days feel lighter. Not richer in dollars, but in something better. Control, clarity, calm. Because the real retirement crisis isn't always about how much you have. It's about how clearly you see what it takes to keep going. And once you see it, you can act on it. Starting today,